Hi, my name is Paddy Buckley, and this is my presentation of an SPX sanitary agitator motor and gearbox removal. So first thing we want to do is obviously make sure that we have our proper isolations in place and everything is locked out. Once we're happy with our permitting and our lockout system, we want to remove all pipework from the unit, making sure that all lines are drained and safe to remove. So that's fairly straightforward there. After that, then we want to take out our speed sensor. So here's our speed sensor there, and we just remove that by loosening the nut on either side of it. As you can see there, just a standard nut on either side. Next then we want to take off our fan cover. So we just take out the 3 little screws on that. After that, then we want to open up our doors and our ceiling void to allow access to our chain block. So you leave the hook, come down out of the void. We then shackle up our motor gearbox, as you can see here, and we'll use a small ratchet strap just to steady the chains on the top of the gearbox, on the top of the motor. So we just have some padding in here just to protect the outside cladding on the motor, so we don't damage it. So next we want to loosen our bolts holding down our mechanical seal distance setting clips. So these clips will set the distance and the tension on our spring and our mechanical seal. So once we have these bolts loosened, and we can spin those, we'll call them offset washers, is kind of what they look like. Spin them into that recess there, and that'll set our distance in when we loosen our grub screws in the shaft. So we just have a mark here on our coupling as well, as you can see, just to show the position that we're in. So we rotate the seal setting clip as shown on the marked faces of the coupling. Good practices to show where we were. So once we have our clips in here for setting our distance, as you can see, we'll loosen off our grub screws. So you can see that grub screw there, and here, so there'll be 3 or 4 of them there, depending on which style you're doing. So once you loosen these off, then your mechanical seal will be free of your shaft, and it should be free. Your shaft should be free to rotate without this collar spinning. So once your grub screws are loose, slowly rotate the shaft, make sure the rotate seal is gauged. So next thing we do then, there's 4 sets of 3 bolts around inside the housing there. So you want to loosen the outside 2 of each. So you want to loosen this one and this one, and leave the center one at this stage. So once the bolts are moved, the unit is now ready to be lifted. So you can lift that up now with your chain block slowly and carefully, making sure that our strap here is tight. This is our 65mm clamp. This is the clamp for this particular agitator shaft. So there's numerous different sizes. Obviously 65 is the desirable one for us for this job. There's plastic inserts in here to protect the finish on the shaft. So you see there's a recess here for this specific task. So we want to line up our clamp there with that recess and squeeze our bolts tight. Excuse me. So once we've them tightened, we don't want to over squeeze them, but just get a good nip on them. We want to protect underneath the clamp as well on the top of the tank. So we'll put a bit of tech cloth down there, a bit of rag or something. So you can now rest the whole unit, agitator, mechanical seal, motor and gearbox down on this clamp. So we'll usually put something underneath it just to bring up the height a little bit. So your whole agitator, mechanical seal, gearbox and motor will now be suspended by this clamp, and that will be resting on maybe some sort of block, or we could maybe sometimes use another clamp. So then to drop your seal, you want to loosen that final bolt, which was the middle bolt out of the tree. And that will allow your mechanical seal to drop down from this housing, which is on the end of the gearbox. So then you're essentially separating your gearbox from your mechanical seal. So before you drop it down all the way, you want to loosen your coupling bolts. So your coupling bolts are located here. There's 3 of them, and you're breaking your coupling just on that line there. So that's basically your drive coupling there. So that's just we use a 75 or 79 mil clamp. Anything can be used as just to rise up the height a little bit, just to make it a little bit easier, so the seal doesn't have to travel as far. After dropping the seal, you can remove the bolts. You can just see there, that's your coupling brake there. And there you have your mechanical seal dropping down. So there you have the lads now lifting off your motor and gearbox, and there's the top half of your coupling. So drop the motor and gearbox by pulling the base out. So you would just want to off center it a bit, and then you can drop that down a clean dry surface once you're clear of any pipework or the mechanical seal. And that's what you're left with. So this is the bottom half of your coupling, and this is the mechanical seal, and your motor and gearbox is removed safely and correct. Thank you.